Ready?
Tell me if you have a fond memory like this. You're in an arcade, you're a kid, you're playing The Simpsons or Street Fighter 2, and then another kid walks up, puts their quarter in and joins you. I have lots of fun memories of this scenario happening. One that sticks out in my mind was being a young teen and playing at GameWorks near the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, where one visit I just played what felt like 100 games of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with this other kid. We were laughing, sharing tech, and just having a great time. It's stuff like this that made arcades great. Back in the far distant past when I was in school, this was during a time where playing video games and watching anime weren't mainstream. So I was a big nerd and I had to fight bullies all the damn time. And I was one of those geeks where, say, you talk shit about me watching Dragon Ball Z, I would immediately double down, look you dead in the eye, and proclaim louder how awesome it was. So basically, I was the personification of a standard YouTube comment. But when I go to an arcade, I felt like I was in my world, a place dedicated to people like me. They gave me a sense of belonging as I would mash buttons with my fellow nerds. This is why I'm so thankful for apps like Fightcade that enable me to play these arcade games with friends online. And if you've been following my channel, you know my favorite type of games to find are the ones I've never heard of or played. I'm happy to bring another one of those games in this video, as we take a look at a game made by a familiar developer and publisher to me, Sammy. I remember first knowing about Sammy for the first time as a publisher of Guilty Gear back on the PS2. Guilty Gear X2 is one of my favorite fighting games. And like most devs and publishers, they had lots of other stuff cooking in the pot that I never even knew existed. So let's take a look at Sammy's 2003 game, Dolphin Blue, and let's just see what in the metal slug we got going on here. Marine World, Aquadia, or Aquadia, I don't fucking know, most of whose surface is covered with water. The once flourishing civilization has sunk to the bottom of the sea, and for ages people have existed together in the great nature. The great empire, the Iron Standard, that sprang up all of a sudden has proclaimed unification of Aquadia and initiated an armed invasion. The Empire brought nearby countries under its control and has chosen the Kingdom of Blue Tier as its next target. But the Empire's operation have already begun. Bruh, is this fucking Waterworld or something? Deeper! Basically, there's an empire that wants to rule Aquadia, and you're gonna take control of the ones to stop it. And the two heroes that are chosen for this are Aereo, who appears to be some kind of pirate, which I'm making by complete assumption based on the skull and crossbones he wears. He's a spirited boy from the House of Urbani. And who are the House of Urbani? No damn clue, as the game never tells us, but it's fine. Accompanying him is Anne, a pink-haired gal that pursues the Imperial Navy to regain the abducted princess. Yes, apparently there's a princess that's been kidnapped, because you can't have an arcade game without saving a damsel in distress. Boring! But our heroes will get some assistance, as they have their trusty dolphin sidekicks that help aid in their fight against the Empire. I wonder if these dolphins are in any relation to Jones from Johnny Mnemonic. Dolphin Blue is a 2D running gun, very much like Metal Slug. You got a fire button for the weapon, and a jump button, the basic standard for a game like this. But this game does have a unique mechanic, which is a meter system accompanied by a super attack. Defeat enough bad guys, build the meter, and you can unleash big damage. The attack changes based on what level the meter is at, so the higher the level, the bigger and better the attack is. I don't recall playing a 2D running gun with a meter system, but it is pretty bitchin'. It's a nice addition to a genre that at this point has been pretty much mastered by Metal Slug. But hey, if there are any other 2D running guns with a meter system, please let me know. I love to play them. Progression in Dolphin Blue is pretty standard as well, as most of the time it's just starting from the left, moving to the right, killing a boss at the end. But this game offers some variety, and that's where the dolphins come into play. Instead of proceeding on foot through the entire game, you'll have stages where you're skimming across the top of the sea. While riding the dolphins, your gun mechanics don't change, but there is a change with a super attack. Rather than a massive gun attack, the dolphins will lunge toward and through everything in its path, based on the direction you pick. It's especially useful against enemies or bosses that are above you, as the air super deals multiple hits of damage. Then there are underwater stages, where you swim alongside the Dolphin. These look cool, but are honestly my least favorite sections, mainly because you can't turn around, which means you can only fire straight ahead. So if some pissant gets behind you, there ain't really much you can do about it. And once again, the Dolphins are the super attack, and again, they're pretty badass. And unlike most 2D running guns, you could pick up different weapon upgrades along the way, like a Gatling gun or heat-seeking missiles. Sadly, they are ammo dependent, so if you survive long enough, they'll eventually drain. I prefer the system where you just keep the weapon until you die, like in Contra, as I feel more rewarded for surviving the non-stop onslaught. Overall, I find the combat progression in Dolphin Blue to be fine. It's basically just the classic style with a little aquatic mammal twist. I think one thing that would have made it better is if you could shoot diagonally. Your options are basically forward, back, up, and only down if you're jumping. Honestly, I would have just preferred 8-directional shooting like in Sunset Riders, but it's not bad at all. And I will say, the game does become a fucking quarter sucker near the end of the game. The final stage is the most difficult of all, and the last boss has multiple forms, and it feels like it takes a billion hits to defeat each form. Dude is fucking nuts. Visually, I think the game looks awesome. I do like the sprite work in the game, and it goes well with the 3D background and objects. Usually a mix of this style is not my preference, but here it looks good. I really love this scene at the beginning of the game, where the enemy battleship is in the background, slowly moving along with you, and the animations of the characters while they're unloading their guns is just awesome, and I love the melee animation they have when enemies are really close. And of course, the Dolphins are a cute touch. Oh yeah, and the music is pretty damn good. A lot of adventure sounding tracks with a great beat. Take a listen. Dolphin Blue didn't really blow me away, but it was a fun time nonetheless. Good graphics, fun and fast gameplay, and pretty dope tracks. I suggest you check it out if you're a fan of the 2D run and gun genre, or even just a fan of the Metal Slug games. Have you played Dolphin Blue? What did you think of it? Feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you for watching.